Welcome to Liberal BFer, where we put the left on check. Today's reality check. Tucker Carlson Russell Brand bombshell interview exposes how the January 6th crowd was full of federal agents. In an interview with Russell Brand, Tucker Carlson reveals how Fox News refused to air his January 6th interview of the Capitol Chief of Police, proving the U.S. Capitol was filled with federal agents.
Any questions about January 6th? And that was a tip-off to me. I mean, I had no thought in my head as I watched this happen on television and in the subsequent weeks that U.S. law enforcement or military agencies had anything to do with it. That never crossed my mind. I never thought it was a false flag or anything like that. I'm not a conspiracist by temperament. I never thought that. And then I interviewed the chief of the Capitol Police, Stephen Sund, in an interview that was never aired on Fox, by the way. I was fired before it could air. I'm going to interview him again. But Stephen Sund was the totally non-political, worked for Nancy Pelosi. I mean, this was not some right-wing activist. He was the chief of the Capitol Police on January 6th. And he said, oh, yeah. That crowd was filled with federal agents. What? Yes. Well, he would know, of course, because he was in charge of security at the site. So the more time has passed, now it's been 2.5 years, it becomes really obvious that core claims they made about January 6th were lies. And my view about events and about people is if you catch someone telling a lie about one thing, the first question you have is, what else are you lying about?
Tucker then goes on to describe how Fox News executives attacked him for his January 6th report.
The amount of lying around January 6th, and it was obvious in the tapes that I showed, is really distressing. And anyone who's covering for those lies should be ashamed of himself. And that would include almost the entire American media, including Fox News. People at Fox News. Fox News, to its great credit, let me air that. And I'm grateful that they did. But there are people there who were mad at me for airing that. Really, why? If you think I'm cherry picking it and taking it out of context, show me where. And by the way, I didn't make the claim that it was entirely peaceful. It wasn't. Police officers were injured. More police officers were injured at the riots in front of the White House the year before, but whatever.
Tucker states the obvious that it was not an insurrection and how patriots like the now famous QAnon Shaman Jacob Chansley was let into the building by Capitol Police and spent 27 months in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
There was a guy called the QAnon Shaman, Jacob Chansley. They put the guy in prison for years. There is surveillance tape that they hid until I aired it, showing the Capitol Police trying lots of doors, trying to get into the Senate chamber, the sacrosanct chamber that he wasn't allowed to be in, and then escorting him in. And he kind of wanders around like he's taking a hit of mescaline, just kind of, you know what I mean? And like he says a prayer, he thanks God for the Capitol Police, and then he wanders out. Now, there are a lot of conclusions you could draw from that, but you cannot call that guy an insurrectionist. That's a lie. And by the way, an insurrection is a very specific meaning, and I'm pedantic about words because they're the currency that I trade in. I mean, that's what I do. I use words for a living, so I care about their specific meanings. That was not an insurrection. It was not armed, and its purpose was not to overthrow the government. It was a spasm of rage that Trump definitely helped inspire. That's true. And at the election results. Okay, I'm not actually for that. I don't think leaders should be making people more pissed in general. But that's what it was. It was not an insurrection. And to put Jacob Chansley, an American citizen, a Navy veteran, in jail for years after he was let into the Senate chamber by uniformed Capitol Hill police officers, and then I play that, and I'm the bad guy, F you.
This sickens me to see how desensitized people in America, and especially our elected officials, have become towards other people's lives. The Democratic leaders pushed a lie in order to further their political agenda, and through all this put innocent men and women in jail, many of which were grandmas just taking selfies. They ruined the lives and families of many patriotic Americans who had every right to be upset with and protest the 2020 election. Thank God for people like Tucker Carlson for exposing the truth of this day, January 6th. To this day, people are still in prison, don't even know what they are charged with, and they have been wasting away. No one can go see them. They haven't even been charged. This is beyond horrible. This is absolutely disgusting how nonviolent people of January 6th have been treated and denied their rights as Americans. What are your thoughts on the Tucker Carlson Russell Brand interview? exposing the truth behind January 6th? Let me know in the comments. That's it for today. To help support the channel, please comment, like, share, subscribe, and be sure to check this one out next.